right along the waterline, on one of the most open and publicly accessible city shorelines in the world, here at the southwest corner of the Great Lake, Michigan. As we tour the lakeshore, we'll have a view of some of America's tallest and most distinguished buildings. We'll review the historical context in which the city and lakefront have developed, and briefly survey the ecology of Lake Michigan itself. Welcome to Chicago, the Windy City, the Second City, city of big shoulders, city in a garden, city that works. It's America's third largest city after New York and Los Angeles, with a current population of 2.7 million people and about 8 million when you include the surrounding suburbs. We begin our tour at Grant Park, named for America's 18th president, Ulysses S. Grant. It consists of 319 acres located along the lakeshore near Chicago's Central Business District in the Loop community area. Grant Park's most notable features include Buckingham Fountain, the Art Institute of Chicago, and the museum campus. And beneath the parks and attractions is a system of underground parking garages. Right on the lakeshore at Buckingham Fountain is Queen's Landing, where Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip docked the royal yacht during a visit to Chicago in 1959. The royal couple stayed at the Chicago Hilton Hotel along the southeast end of Grant Park on Michigan Avenue. The centerpiece of Grant Park is Buckingham Fountain, one of the world's largest fountains. The fountain, in a Rococo wedding cake style, was dedicated in 1927 as a gift to the city from Kate Sturgis Buckingham in memory of her brother Clarence. The fountain operates from April to October with water displays every 20 minutes and a light and water display from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. and is featured in the opening credits to the hit television sitcom Married with Children. We head out into the waters of the southwest corner of the Great Lake, Michigan, one of the 5 Great Lakes and the largest body of fresh water in the continental United States. The lake is 307 miles long from north to south and 118 miles wide at its widest point. From the Chicago shoreline straight east to the state of Michigan is about 60 miles. The name Michigan is believed to come from the Ojibwa word Michigami, meaning great water, and the lake itself was formed along with the other 4 Great Lakes by glaciers receding northward after the end of the last ice age, about 10,000 years ago. The average depth of the lake is about 279 feet, with a maximum depth of 923 feet. The average depth this close to the shore is about 25 feet. Water temperatures on Lake Michigan make it into the 60s in July and August, and can sometimes make it into the 70s when air temperatures have been in the 90s for a number of continuous days. Trout, salmon, walleye, and smallmouth bass fisheries are prevalent on the lake. The lake is also home to crawfish, freshwater sponges, and sea lamprey, a metallic violet species of eel. The lake is also home to a wide range of bird populations, including water birds such as ducks, geese, and swans, as well as crows, robins, and bald eagles. Predatory birds such as hawks and vultures are also prevalent on the lake due to the wealth of wildlife to feast upon. Like all of the Great Lakes, Lake Michigan has had its share of shipwrecks. One of the most famous maritime disasters was the sinking of the Westmoreland, a steamer that sank on December 7, 1854. The wreck was discovered by a diver on July 7, 2010, 155 years after the accident, in excellent condition. During the Second World War, when Navy Pier was an active naval training base, pilots were trained in the art of taking off from and landing onto boats. As a result, the lake bottom is littered with planes which were not successfully landed. But since the lake water is fresh, rather than salt water, the planes do not deteriorate to the extent they would in salt water. Thus, the Naval Aviation Museum in Pensacola, Florida, often retrieves these wrecks, which are more easily restored for museum display. Like the other Great Lakes, Lake Michigan is still used as a major mode of transport